Hi, I'm Jack Berezzini, and you're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, where we talk about the hidden meanings and deeper layers found in the Stargate movies, TV series, and more. And joining me today are Father Corey Stika. Hi, Father.
Howdy, Jack.
And Lisa Jones. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Jack.
And Victor Lambs. Hey, Victor.
Hi, Jack.
Today we are discussing the 5th episode of Season 7, Revisions, and I think I forgot my my rundown for this, so let me get it real quick. All right, I have it downloaded. Got it from the link. After sending a MALP to a seemingly toxic planet, the SGC discovers an inhabited dome. SG-1 travels to the planet to investigate, utilizing hazmat suits to enter the dome, and they find a lush, habitable environment inside. They encounter a society of survivors reliant on a wearable device that allows them to connect to a central computer system called the Link, which controls their knowledge and their memories. The inhabitants are friendly and agree to share their knowledge of their technology. While analyzing the system, Carter discovers that the force field comprising the dome is weakening, and after confronting the inhabitants about it, SG-1 realizes that the Link manipulates the population's perceptions to hide the failing environment, erasing memories to cover up the loss of those killed by the shrinking dome. Racing against time and the shrinking dome, and the Link's manipulation of the populace, they attempt to reprogram the Link, eventually freeing the villagers from its control. With the dome failing, SG-1 assists in the relocation of the populace. What are your thoughts on this episode, Father?
I like this one. This is it's a good story, and they kind of do, they're getting more into the sci-fi, advanced tech, and the consequences of it. It's a good warning for us why we really don't want to enter the metaverse if we can help it. And sometimes it feels like even just without having the Link, just with having the internet, there's plenty of memory holes that go around just in our world today. So it's a good warning about that as well, as ensuring that we don't just rely on technology by other people, but we have, backups like, say like DVDs of your favorite TV shows like Stargate in case it comes off of one streaming service instead of another, things like that.
Definitely. I was going to say, apropos of nothing, Neuralink, Elon Musk company is starting their applications for human trials. So not related to this episode at all.
Not at all.
Not a sponsor.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they could. What are your thoughts on this episode, Lisa?
I'm with Father Corey. I like it. To me, it feels, it's what they do best. It's like the planet of the week. And, oh no, it's like everyone's friendly. And then, oh no, there's a problem. And it's really the 4 main characters of SG-1 back together and doing what they do best and figuring it out, solving the problem, and, safely evacuating everyone to somewhere else. So, and O'Neill gets to interact with a kid, and Carter gets to do technobabble, and Daniel gets to read old newspapers in a foreign language, and I'm not sure what Teal'c did.
Teal'c gets to walk around and raise his eyebrow at things.
Be a sounding board, yeah.
So I like it. I feel like it's a good old standard of Stargate.
Definitely. What about you, Victor?
Yeah, I really like this episode too. It's a standout for me. Definitely a very memorable episode. A really good work of speculative fiction. It could have been, a Twilight Zone episode or an Outer Limit episode, even just in terms of like the horrible implications of what's actually going on to the people in this planet. Yeah, so I do like it. It works as a Stargate episode. Like you said, it's kind of like there's that meme of all like the generic NPC people all parroting whatever the current trend is, and then someone takes a chip out of their head and puts in a new chip, and they start parroting the new current trend. Yeah, so you don't even need advanced technology. You just need a media or mass broadcasting. But no, I like this one a lot. The ending. So what I do like is that there's a number of twists along the way. And when we talked to Joseph Malazzi, he mentioned that, he always tries to put, a twist into his episode. And this one has several, and they all work. What doesn't work as well for me is when they try to put a positive spin on the end, and they're talking to Palin and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, you had a wife and she died and you never knew her. And he's like, gosh, that's like horrible. But then he's smiling. He's like, well, tell me about her, and it's like actually you need like counseling because your whole life has been a lie. You've been living on the gaslight planet your entire life. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe let's get out of this dome that could fail at any time and then talk about this.
Well, they never really
he did say
Yeah.
right, that he wishes he was like the others and he didn't even know he'd lost somebody. So he did say, like, darn you for telling me about this wife that I didn't know I had. And now I'm mourning someone I never do.
Yeah.
I mean, they were able to reprogram their memories. Like, they could probably just do a quick one and done with him if he wanted.
Like memory wipe him.
Or just like back up to 2 days before, like just restore that particular
System
backup.
restore.
Yeah.
Bring out the old backup tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it. It did definitely feel like a Twilight Zone episode, like you were saying, Victor. Especially just with the way the sets were done. It just had that kind of classic vibe. One other thing that I thought was funny was the kid when he's asking Jack how many planets have they been to. I'm like, have you been to 10 planets? Have you been to 20 planets? Have you been to 30 planets? It's like, I have an 8-year-old, so or a 7-year-old, and I get that on the daily. There were a couple things that I thought that, like, they did a good job with the misdirection. Like, as soon as the kid shows up, like, I just got Damien vibes, but I'm glad that he was actually not evil. And I also like that because as soon as they start out, they get here, you know there's going to be something sinister going on, because you can never come to a planet like this and have everything just be okay. But I appreciate that they didn't make the people themselves evil. Like, it wasn't some sort of dark conspiracy. They were just as much victims of what was going on. So I'm happy that they kind of flipped that around.
And even when it gets the darkest and the machine realizes, you know, what's going on and needs to stop, you know, at the SGC, it doesn't resort to turning the villagers into a mob with, you know, pitchforks. It just, you know, who's going to kill the SGC or push them outside the dome. It's basically just, you know, here, put these link things on.
Right. Yeah.
Which at that point, the computer could kill them by just marching them outside the dome. But, you know, it doesn't resort to, you know, the purge or something, you know.
I don't think the computer wanted to kill them. You know, that's the thing, is the computer, even though it was killing people to keep the population down, it wasn't doing it in like a malicious way. It was doing it as in a computer mindset of, is right now the dome can only sustain 1,000 people. We've got 1,001. Therefore, one person must go. Who is the least advantageous to keep? You know, who's the one that we can get rid of the easiest, or whatever, you know, most useless to our society, you know? So I can't even see.
And it's the woman who sits on the home association, homeowners association board. No.
So you're saying the computer is the hero?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. The computer.
But then it gets rid of the librarian. So, I mean.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and we don't ever get like a scene where the computer has any sort of voice or acts as a like a sentient being. It's more just it's acting as a pure brute system. Like, these are the calculations it takes in, and this is what it needs to do to keep running. And I like that, but I do feel like that was where the episode was lacking the most. Like, you think they would have built in some sort of fail-safe for this kind of thing? Like, at what point did the computer start deciding to erase people's memories and take that upon itself? Like, you don't get this is where
200 years ago, at least.
Yeah. That's where and what's sad, if you think about it, where, okay, it started cooling down 200 years ago, which means it started producing less power, means it kept shrinking. And then eventually it's like, okay, the computer's sitting there thinking, I can't shrink any further with as many people as I have. So let's, you know, now's the time to get rid of the elderly, the infirm, and so on. And eventually you run out of those. And then from there.
Yeah, they did mention that up until about 200 years ago, the population was 100,000, and now they're down to around 1,300. And so that's another kind of emotional, like, gut punch. They're like, oh, yeah, this has been going on for a long time. And
it's a lot of people.
Yeah. And
So where were the people that created the system? If you think about it, they'd been down there for at least 400 years. And so at some point they lost people that had the technological know-how of what was actually that the computer was in charge. And I don't know. You know, it's like, was that the computer getting rid of those people and just leaving?
Well,
you know, with the link that they
say,
just forget anything else is going on.
Yeah. Well, they did say that 400 years ago they saw that the planet was becoming the atmosphere in the planet was becoming toxic, and so a group of people are the ones who created the dome 400 years ago. But so of course those people have since died, whether because the computer pushed them out of the dome or just old age.
Yeah. It was a typical like doomsday bunker, I think, type situation where it sounded like you could buy your way in given the contracts they mentioned. But yeah, I mean, after a generation, once people who had learned things by reading and by actually doing things, you know, died off, everybody at that point has all their skills and stuff from the link. There's, you know, there's really no need to learn how to do anything manually anymore. And so, I mean, there are cases even now where in a generation we've forgotten like how to do things. If there's not a YouTube video of someone, you know, smithing a buggy whip or whatever, you know, like we just don't know how to do it anymore.
Is that what's behind the homesteading movement where everyone's out like on the washer board, like washing clothes in the backyard for fun? Is like everyone's just trying to keep those skills up?
Fun is a word for it, I guess.
Yeah. It's for the gram.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there is kind of the homesteading movement where they do try to recover older skills, you know, survival skills and things like that. And that's not a bad thing because let's be honest, you know, we've seen it already when times where regions of our power grid go down for days, storms move in, fires, whatever it might be, you know. And I think that's why a lot of people do that, you know, to have the capability. Now you can start getting into the real radical ones where they're like bunkering up because they're gonna overthrow the government.
Well, I mean, I've made soap out of my leftover bacon grease. Who hasn't? But
do you have a manifesto? Just kidding.
I made eggs in my leftover bacon grease.
No,
does that count?
No. Once I like you know clarified the grease and stuff, it actually made really good soap. So if you have bacon grease, save it up. You know, filter it really well. Get yourself some of that sodium hydrochloride or whatever it is. Look at a YouTube video or something. But you can make some really, and then you can give it away to your friends and family as Christmas gifts and say,
important question. Does it smell like bacon?
No, it doesn't, because I put peppermint essential oil in it and stuff. And so it's
better
like
if your soap smelled like bacon, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I have 4 dogs.
You go to work and everyone's like, "Do you smell bacon?"
This is Dad's soap. It smells like bacon.
Yeah, I don't need with all the dogs. I don't need to smell like food to them.
So basically, this episode is a warning that we need to do more of that because we could end up in a dome that's killing us off.
Yes,
run by
a 15-minute dome.
Yeah, there's actually I was listening to can't remember who it was, but they were talking about like in the event of a cataclysm where our civilization ends, the people who are going to survive are going to be the hunter-gatherer societies that still live in the Amazon, and then whoever can like team up with them, they're going to rebuild society. But anyone with the like advanced, like living in our advanced society with no real actual survival skills, we're all going to be fodder for the zombies, I guess.
They're always going to need network technicians.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe on a North Sentinel Island, they need their cables managed.
Hey, all I can say is there's a lot of people out here in Montana. They'll survive the apocalypse. No.
It is interesting also that this episode, I think it came out in 2003. And I think like MySpace was around and it was a couple of years before Facebook, but this was before like Twitter and TikTok and all the other brain rot that's out there now. And it's interesting how accurate it is to how those social media causes go, where people just flip a switch based on what someone tells them, and they put their little emoji icon of whatever flag is important that month.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm flying this flag this week. Oh, now there's a new war I gotta do, or a new ribbon I've got to put on, or
that's because people are people. Like the society, the way people interact with each other. You study sociology. People haven't changed. It's just the tools and the technology has changed. But whether we're, back in the day of everyone reading a newspaper or everyone's online on social media, Kind of like what you see here. It's just the tools that have changed, but people are still people.
Yep.
Groupthink has
True.
been around forever.
Very true.
Tribalism is built into our DNA
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes into our Neuralinks.
I love Carter when they're like, here, try this. And Daniel's like, okay. And he's about to put it on. And Carter's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It might not be compatible with our
Sure.
brain waves. That's it.
Yeah.
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 It's nice to see they've learned a few things in 6.5 years.
And I feel like Daniel's definitely the one who would just be like, sure, I'll try it out. I got in that sarcophagus and nothing
Yeah.
bad happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I can learn all kinds of good stuff from this thing. Absolutely.
Right. What? Instant knowledge? Okay.
Yeah.
See next episode. Yeah.
The woman, though, that was handing him, was it Avala?
Yeah.
Mhm.
She was in Touchstone.
Oh yeah.
She was
played
the one with
blind
the weather,
Chiefs.
missing weather
Oh.
thing.
Yeah.
And she's in Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, she was the
Yeah.
hybrid in
The
Battlestar
hybrid.
Galactica.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where I recognize her from. I knew she looked familiar.
There was one scene where she was talking, and all I could picture was her laying in that goo in
Mhm.
Battlestar Galactica, like her face, and it just suddenly kind of, I didn't even realize it, and then I'm like, she's the chick in the goo
She's the
in
goo lady.
Battlestar
Yeah.
Galactica.
She's like
Yeah.
the one that controls the ships.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, there's like 10 different shows that pretty much every single actor has been on if you
hmm
look at them all.
Yeah.
And speaking of recurring sci-fi actors,
Yes.
we
Yeah.
get a Christopher Heyerdahl
There you go.
in this episode. Who
One of the few times he's not in face mask and
Yeah.
yeah,
that's right.
It was a treat to see him working with Amanda Tapping because, of course, the two of them co-star on that Sanctuary show that she did and produced after leaving Stargate. And
well,
again,
doesn't he also interact with her on Atlantis?
yeah, he plays
Mhm.
Todd the Wraith.
Yep.
So one of the most beloved anti-hero frenemies
Yeah.
on Atlantis. So
He's the one that does the handshake. It's a Wraith
Yeah.
joke. Let me shake
yeah,
your hand.
Yeah.
It's a Wraith joke.
Yeah, so that's something to look forward to and get into Atlantis. It takes, I think it's a little ways in before we see him,
Mhm.
but
No,
yeah.
he plays another main character on Atlantis in the very beginning.
Oh, that's right. The chief,
Right. The father of the boy and the gosh, I can't think of his
yeah, I
name on the
can't
show.
remember.
Now I gotta
Rachel
look it up.
Levine's character. Yeah,
Yeah, but he's right there from the beginning. I can't find his name.
but yeah, you're
Well,
right. We do see him very early
Well, you
on.
also have one
Holling.
more returning
That's
returning actor. Pierre Lacroix played
Yeah.
Kendrick. He was the
Mhm.
Ashrak that went against Jolinar.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember
I
that.
can see him now in the beret and then the
Yep.
uniform and stuff. Yeah, yeah. He's been
I thought
in
he looked familiar, and I couldn't place
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
So
just scrolling
we got a
through,
bunch of the regular, the
Yeah.
Vancouver regulars in this one.
Yep.
It's like people had a smaller part, and they're like, "We're going to bring you back and let you talk."
You're forgetting Christopher Heyerdahl's like star role though. He apparently played Rocker in the Halle Berry Catwoman movie. So I think that's what he should be remembered for.
Wait,
Did-
there were other people in the Halle
And-
Berry cat movie.
I didn't see that.
I was not a priest when it
Yeah.
came out, so I can say things like that.
and of course, I was thinking of Taylor, who is played by Rachel Luttrell, not Rachel Levine. who is
Oh.
someone
Oh, God.
completely different. No, I just misspoke. Taylor. Of course, we are diehard Stargate fans here, so we of course know the main characters of the shows that we were talking about.
Nice. 100%.
Speaking of Amanda Tapping, I was watching a show this last week, a current show, and at the bottom it said directed by Amanda Tapping.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, and it stopped me because I was like, "Wait a second, is that the same Amanda Tapping?" And sure enough, so it was. I should have looked up what it was. It was on NBC.
Cool.
Nice.
Irrational. It's called Irrational.
yeah.
And
Oh,
she
yeah, I've been wanting to watch that. I'll have to.
Yeah, the Irrational. Yeah. So she was the. I looked, not every episode, just that one episode, and I just happened to see it.
Yeah, she actually played an angel on Supernatural as well as directing It looks like 4 episodes of the show too. So she's been a director for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Seems like there's often on these sci-fi shows, there's like a pipeline from actor to director.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I know that was a thing, and we got to get it. We got to get it in a Star Trek reference.
Yeah.
That's right.
But that was a thing in Star Trek where they actually encouraged certain actors like Jonathan Frakes, LeVar Burton, a couple others to start directing while they were acting on those shows, so they could learn the ropes.
I was gonna say, like Jonathan Frakes, like that's mainly what he does now, and
yeah.
he's done a lot with the new shows as a director rather than an actor.
Yep.
Yeah, and the guy who played Tom Paris.
You mean Nick Locarno?
Robert Duncan McNeil.
Yeah, Robert Duncan McNeil. Yeah, he's basically been a director.
Oh, did you say Nick Locarno?
Yeah, I see.
Nick
Locarno,
okay. Yeah, sorry.
They look alike.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
He's been a director. Yeah. I mean, that's what he does now. And, but yeah, no, they had a whole Paramount University, like basically directing school that they would put them through.
Nice.
I have a feeling on some of these like sci-fi shows, it was more like, yeah, I'll be in season 8 of your show still for the same amount of money, but I want to direct 2 episodes or something.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of our main characters on Stargate do eventually direct at least 1 episode.
Or write episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is good to see, though, because then at least it means they're getting invested in the characters and have input on how the characters are.
Yep. Exactly.
But yeah, I was going to say with we don't when they actually go outside looking for the missing people, you've got like the super dystopian gaseous planet with these skeletons around where their flesh has all been eaten off by the acid. I like that. That was just creepy, and you can assume that because it used to be much bigger, there's just like fields of bones around them.
Yeah. SG-1 didn't see that when they were walking in.
Yeah.
No, they're too busy looking elsewhere, apparently. Or they didn't come in where the people leave, because they always would leave through the village.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So.
I did think that was odd that one end of the dome is the village, but then you still have this huge garden.
Yeah, why wouldn't
maybe
they
that's
be
where their
sustaining
food is? I don't know,
Yeah.
but I just thought it was odd.
Well, they still got to get their food from somewhere.
Yeah, wasn't clear how the computer gave them food, or I guess they grew it.
Yeah, that was another thing that I wasn't quite sure about, because at one point, the kid tells Jack, I think it's Jack and Teal, to come with him. Like, we're going to go back to the house, and it's in a different location than it used to be at. And they go, and everything's already set up, and it's there. And later on, when the Malp disappears, they show where it was, and there's that weird statue thing. And it's still there, but the Malp is gone. So is everything in the dome, is it like a holodeck where everything is generated and the buildings have dynamically changed? Like, it wasn't clear on that.
I don't think so. I think, I don't know, because you don't see like the remnants of the town outside of it. You see remnants of a town, of a city,
right? But
not that town. So that possibly is,
I think the structures in the village are real. The plants, I think everything inside the dome is real, but the surface of the dome is a projection.
Okay.
And so when he says, now our house is over here, it's because the dome is shrunk, and their where they stayed the previous night is now outside the dome. And so they have to all be programmed to think this is their house.
And
it's
the computer
probably
easily programmed to move your stuff from one to the other.
Or got someone to do it and told a villager, hey, move this, and then forget about it. But yeah, so when they can't see the Malp, it's just because like it's outside the projection that's on the wall of the dome.
Okay, and then the weird statue thing could just be a projection where it used to be, I guess.
Yeah, because they don't want to look out and see. And they even mentioned this. The computer keeps us from seeing like the horrific hellscape of skeleton bones that's on the other side.
And also not to remind us that we're trapped in this bubble.
Yeah.
So it looks like it goes on much further.
Otherwise you get bubble fever and just want to run out. Like you get bubble madness.
Apparently when the dome gets small enough, you get trapped in there with a U2 way past their prime.
Yeah.
Or it's just like Fortnite. They foresaw Fortnite and like the shrinking bubble that you have to.
I wonder if this is where Fortnite got the idea.
Probably. I think all of Epic Games got their ideas from Stargate.
That works.
But I do like the setting here. You know, it was shot in Fantasy Gardens, which is kind of a medieval abandoned. It's an abandoned amusement park with a medieval theme. It wasn't built in the Middle Ages, but in British Columbia there. So
yeah, we've seen that set before. We've seen that when it was a medieval village.
Yeah,
one time at least.
Probably maybe in Demons or something that we see. I don't know, but
yeah, it might be that one,
but we get that really effective, like, you know, brick wall. Like that's the projection, and that's the end of the dome. And a couple times you see people turn down that alleyway and then disappear. Or I forget if one time we see him actually. Yeah, with the council member, I think we see her like just walk through the wall. And
no,
disappear.
we don't see her walk because that's the first time we see someone just disappear.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't the council member. The council member is the one that we saw walk through
down the...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ivala just disappears. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I like how they say too, it's like, you know, the static or something you feel against the dome is there to help, like, I mean, obviously if you're programming people, you don't need to, you can just program them not to walk right up to the edge or anything, but maybe it's like a safeguard.
When you think about it, it's interesting
pressure.
I think it's interesting that they made it that they're aware of the dome. Because I think in a lot of sci-fi shows, they would be unaware that they're trapped or that that there is this outside city and they're, you know, this is the edge. But they're very aware of it, like you said. And I thought that was an interesting twist, that they know they're there and they don't seem to be curious about leaving or seeing what's on the outside, or, you know, and maybe that's the link changed it. So we saw Ivala take hers off. Right. And then like the next day, it's like we take it off, we die. So maybe the computer has programmed them to not be curious.
Well, and the link has shown them. They said there's something in there how they've seen pictures or videos of it. So the link has shown them what's outside too. And they're monitoring what's going on outside. So they know it's not still toxic, or they know that it is still toxic.
Yeah, and I like the Link command center. I thought that was really cool. How it's the brick at the top of the stairs, and then it goes down into the, you know, the slick command center there. I just think it's funny that they still have technicians, you know, maintaining the computer in the dome, and the computer is giving them false information.
Yeah,
so someone's still got to keep it up to date,
giving them fake news.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what can they actually do if they have no idea what the actual reality of the situation is?
Yeah.
But
he said it never changes, so he doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, I like the little scrolling code updates too. That when they were get their
I wonder
downloads.
If that was, you know, a lot of this is about the time where people, if they wanted to show code on a screen, they would just grab the Linux kernel and scroll it.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is like the Linux kernel, but they use a custom font. So it doesn't look like the Linux kernel, but it is.
Yeah, it was based on like the way it was formatted out. It almost looked like someone just typed like the ls command and like listed the contents of a directory, because it's like a bunch of text at the top and then you see a bunch of like one lines going down. But it wasn't sharp enough to see what it actually was. But
I mean, it was the made up language, but you know, made up letters, but still
wingdings.
Yep.
And also one trope that they avoided, that I liked that they avoided it, was like the computer like doing the HAL thing when they start messing with it, and like the computer didn't try to shock Sam, or, you know, robots came out of the walls or something.
I was hoping for like a Landrew voice, but we didn't get that.
Yeah, Landrew.
I like that the computer wasn't evil. Yeah, the computer wasn't evil. It was just, you know, trying to survive, fulfill its function. Which, I don't know.
Never happy, it's never sad. It just runs programs.
Yeah. Just kills people because it has to.
Yeah. Remind me of the autopilot in WALL-E, which is basically, it has its directive to never ever return to Earth because Earth is ruined. And even when, you know, you have evidence that Earth can support life, it's going to do everything it can to keep the ship from going back home.
The problem is in the programmers, not the system.
Yeah.
There's no if cases there.
And I also liked when people would get their updates, just how, you know, how it was filmed, where they would just like show different people like in the council meeting, or various people just like kind of just like paused and stuff. I went down this morning to get my cup of coffee, and I think I shorted out somewhere between like trying to figure out to get the cup or what I needed to do first because it was very early. And my wife's, I'm just standing there in the kitchen and my wife is like, "Are you downloading your update from the link?" And I was like, "What? Oh yeah, Stargate. Very funny." But yeah.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of the worst feeling when you just kind of like, you know, it's like the joke. You ever stop to think and forget to start again?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Did y'all have any other thoughts on this episode?
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. I like that the townspeople didn't try to wreck the bunny suits. I do like the ending where all the other SG teams come up, like show up, and they're all helping them, you know, leave and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a good episode. Lots of good twists, a lot of good, you know, sci-fi in there and stuff. So
yeah, just a very solid classic SG-1 type of episode.
Did we have any fun alternate language titles for this, or was it pretty straightforward?
No, we actually did on this one. So in French we got Le Réseau, which is the network. In most of them it is revisions. But then in German we got Die Macht der Speichers, which is the power of memory or the power of the link, depending on how you translate it.
Nice.
Yeah.
German's always got to be a little different.
They do on this one, yeah. And then in Hungarian, I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but it translates to repairs. So I thought that was cool too. I think, repairs. Nice. I like revisions too, because it obviously a writer, you know, as you're going through your script and, you know, changing it, you're making revisions. So that's just what the computer is doing here. It's just rewriting its script.
Exactly.
I wonder if it's using Vim.
Yeah. Or Pico.
Yeah.
Awesome. We do have some feedback. Hammond commented on our YouTube on our episode 131 on Fallen. He says, "This is one of the Michael Shanks wants an acting nomination episodes of SG-1. This and the Legacy episode, I think, and the other one is Lifeboat. Shanks wanted to be the star of the show so bad, he must have been hounding the writers every single week. Jonas was a great character and brought a refreshing tone to the series. Then we had to throw it all away while everyone just goes on and on about how amazing and perfect Daniel Jackson is. Eye roll." Well, I think
That's a great comment.
I think we know how Hammond feels about Daniel Jackson. So he's definitely on Team Jonas there.
I won't deny. I won't deny that I disagree or that I agree.
Yeah, it's kind of an accurate comment, though. I mean, because Lifeboat was, I think Michael Shanks, when he came back, it was kind of in his contract that he gets some meteor episodes to try to win some awards, and he did win for Lifeboat, which is our next episode.
So it worked.
So it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. We really appreciate that feedback, and I miss Jonas too. I like Daniel, but I do miss Jonas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. And before we go, we'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the Secrets of Stargate, including Donald W., Greg G., Stephen Z., George S., and Timothy V. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to create the Secrets of Stargate and all the shows at StarQuest. And you can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. And be sure to follow the show on Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and you can find the video versions at youtube.com/StarQuestMedia. And to find previous episodes of Secrets of Stargate and to send us feedback, please visit sqpn.com/Stargate. And you can email us at stargate@sqpn.com and follow StarQuest on social media at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia or on Twitter at SQPN. And I'm sure you can probably download the episodes from the link. And we'll be back next time when we'll be discussing the next episode of SG-1, Lifeboat. There we go, Michael Shanks. Until then, Father Corey, thank you for joining me and sharing the Secrets of Stargate.
Thank you, Jack.
And Lisa Jones, thank you as well.
Thanks, Jack.
And Victor Lambs, thank you too.
Thanks, Jack, and hello, Nevin.
Don't even know how to respond to that one. Once again, I'm Jack Berrezzini. Thank you for listening to the Secrets of Stargate on StarQuest.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?